Caroline Kepnes' brand new book, Providence, is out today. Not only that, but tonight she will be appearing at the Point Street Reading Series in Providence, Rhode Island. Caroline is the author of You, Hidden Bodies, and Now Providence. She has worked as a pop culture journalist for Entertainment Weekly and a TV writer on Seventh Heaven, The Secret Life of the American Teenager, and the upcoming adaptation of You. Originally from Cape Cod, which is why that accent is down so beautifully, Massachusetts, she now writes full-time and lives in L.A. Welcome to Reading with Robin, Caroline.
Thank you, Robin. I'm so happy to be here. Yes.
My readers will know I've been talking about this book for a while, and then when it arrived, the finished copy, it is just gorgeous. It is, you must have been thrilled with this.
Oh, my gosh. I'm just sitting here, it's staring at, the pink neon, and I love the pink, black, and blue. It's so
gorgeous.
Beautiful.
It just pops.
You just want to touch it.
You do want to touch it. Well, I remember even the galley was beautiful, the advanced copy that came. But then when the finished copies came, I was just like, and I photographed it several places, and everywhere in Providence, people come over to look, and I'm like, not out yet, but it will be soon. And you can come see Caroline at Point Street Reading Series on June 19th. But it does. It absolutely pops, and it's just so good. I've put it on all of my favorite lists and telling everybody to read it. And we also did a giveaway. There will be a lucky winner, so I'll have the name. You can autograph it. Yeah. It's still up on the Facebook page, so go to Reading with Robin on Facebook and find Providence, and then you can enter to win an autographed copy. I thought that would be fun since I have the pleasure of meeting you in person.
Yes, I'm so excited for that.
Very cool. As soon as we saw this book, I was like, wait, it's called Providence, and it's Caroline's new book? This is just, oh, my God, too exciting. I don't even know where to start. I have underlined and marked up this book in true form of a book that I love, and it's not my usual kind of read. Even, down to the H.P. Lovecraft, that's so not Robin. And I could not love this book more. So I am thrilled that I picked it up. Talk about, and we don't give spoilers away. Nobody has to ever worry about that. But talk about...
Safe place.
This is a very safe place. There's a safe word here. It's a basement now. And also exactly. Visit Caroline's site at carolinekepnes.com. You can find her on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and everywhere, and also your events page has you. Wait, and then you're back and forth. You're going to be here, I saw in July, at Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, I can't stay away. I love New England.
That's so fun. You know what? I just meant to ask you that because I had seen you were here and you're there, and you're back in California. Then you're back here in Brookline, and then but that trip. Okay, then you're out in Sandwich, and then you're here. Oh, good. So I'll get to see you again and share with everybody. What started this novel? What was the nugget? I have my theories, but where did it?
It's always so many different things kind of slowly coming together, like in the pot stirring. It's like when you just said, oh, she's on Facebook, she's here. Over the years, I've just been thinking about how much our world has changed. The way when you're a kid, you're so aware of your changing body. And now, to me, we're all in this kind of childlike state of the constantly changing world and the different ways to communicate. So that is a theme that I just think about a lot and wanted to explore. And what it's like to lose someone in this time when we're all so ferociously connected and constantly aware of how connected we are and how the meaning of what connection itself has changed. The way you can know someone and be very good friends with them and never hear their voice out loud is so bizarre to me.
It is very bizarre.
Yeah. And I remember when texting started, and I was like, I will never do this. I will never do this. I am a voice person. And, here I am. Now when the phone rings, I'm like, what's wrong?
I know. Why are you calling me? It's a good time for you, but probably not for me. It's an invasion. It's just a constant surprise. Never say never, right?
And then it's thinking about, because it's all changing, then like you said, it's not your usual read. It's not necessarily my usual write. But I find that so many of my conversations with friends over the past couple of years are about this change. So my imagination got going of like, well, what if we don't even, get to be with each other anymore? What if something were to happen? Yeah, no spoiler, but like what is this doing to us in the long run? And then what is it doing to us in our minds every single day? And like, what's it like to walk around with this thing that you're holding that when it dies, you feel a part of your life is dead? That's so creepy to me.
Well, and I love it. The thing is, I love that. Of course, I don't want to pigeonhole myself into any kind of genre or book or whatever, because I find myself more and more saying, this isn't what I usually butt, because so there isn't a usual, and I'm open. Just it's written so beautifully. There are just so many. I could quote so many things, like where I just circled them in. I was like, I love this, the prose. So I should probably give myself more credit for being open. I love a great story. I mean, your storytelling is just my kind of storytelling, and it's and I can suspend belief. I can do this. Everything doesn't have to be real. So I mean, I love a lot of that. So I don't know what was surprising to me, and I'm okay with bad things can happen, and it's a love story in so many ways too, and the blurring of the line between like reality and what the perception of reality is.
That's so true. I think, to me, that's the heart of it, is a love story. And I wanted to write about these people who are like just about to have that and on the cusp of that, and what happens when that possibility is taken away, because I think that's where I wound up having like these kind of two couples, because I love this thing of when you're a kid and your life is ahead of you, and that moment in life when it feels otherwise and as if like, oh, this is the way it worked out. And I wanted to I liked going back and forth between those two mentalities and feeling one shift into the other.
The fiction of reality and the dreamy state of fiction and just, I don't know, there was just so much I was reading and thinking, and I was like, stop thinking, Robin, just read and enjoy the ride, because I was like, this is so smart. This makes sense. And you mentioned the other couple. Well, mention our main players and what we should know about them. How's that?
John and Chloe, two kids. John is someone who is more inward and kind of, he's okay with having that one person. And Chloe is someone who's much more sort of socially well adjusted and has a lot of friends and can run in different circles. And I love the difference there of how it can sometimes feel like someone's love, the pressure is also pressure, when one person has made it clear that I only need you. And yet that's also what we're so instructed to seek out in life and what we're told is good. So I wanted to get into both sides of that. And then there's a couple, an older couple, Eggs and Low, and I always smile when I bring them up. I just someone's been tweeting that he might be real. I'm like, I hope he's a real person. Like, maybe I'll go on one of those people finders and see if he's there.
If somebody is going to find them, I would say my money's on you, Caroline. I just love that. Eggs and Low, of course. I mean, there should be a T-shirt. Is there a T-shirt that says Eggs and Low?
Yeah. And he's a detective who winds up playing detective kind of on the sly, not the way he's really supposed to be doing his job. And that came about because it's another theme in our world right now. I feel like, we're all playing detective. We all wonder. We all have all of these instruments to go find things out that we're not necessarily supposed to know or to be looking out for. And it was exciting to me to get into this guy's life where he's in some ways acting like a child, like a kid who's obsessed with someone and can't stop Googling them and trying to figure out what's going on, as John and Chloe are separated and wondering about each other and kind of playing the same game, but in a totally different world, and then colliding these worlds together.
Oh, such a collision. And it's I just find myself so wrapped up in one of the storylines that I can't wait to get back to it, but that I can't wait to see what's happening on the other side, and it's just such a page-turning, but yet the kind of book that you want to savor so that it's not just too quickly, not done too quickly. And
that I was just going to say that I love that feeling when I'm reading, and I call that the close the book. When you're so into it, and then you just have to close it for a minute and look at the back and look at the front and let your mind go, and then you're like, no, I have to know what happens. I love that conflict. But
I love, right? I also like that too when we're out or something, and I know that book is waiting for me at home.
I know,
and you
such a good feeling,
right? You're like, we're going home. Oh, that's where I was at, you know, and you just, and also I know when I'm really into a book where I don't even have to read a page or two back and then continue. I know exactly where I left and exactly where I am, and that is really how I found myself while reading Providence. And I'm on the phone with Caroline Kepnes, her gorgeous, brand new, do not miss, fabulous, awesome novel, Providence, is out today, and you can even come meet Caroline tonight if you're within the distance of Rhode Island, which is a very wide net. Come meet us tonight at Point Street Reading Series on Richmond Street. You can find the Facebook page, Point Street Reading Series, and send me a message if you have any questions. But it's really easy to get to, and there's parking right across the street, and you will be reading with 4 fellow authors. And I say reading, it's more like talking, and read like a little bit of just really, it's not much. It's called the reading series where we don't really read. That's how it started. It's more like storytelling and just, I mean, you're going to be in the heart of Providence. You're going to be like in it. You can just.
In Providence.
You're in Providence. You can do whatever you want. It's going to be so much fun. It's set in, well, and people do come from all over. You know, Rhode Island is a very interesting place, and so you've got the people, right, who won't travel, and then we have people that come to the series from New Hampshire, from New Jersey, from Connecticut. You know, they drive. In a storm last month we had, and people were here from Schenectady, but then, you know, Cranston, right, Cranston, which gets a little nod in the book. You're reading along, and I'm like, Cranston, that's too far. Sometimes from Providence. What was the research like? It was the reason, you know, why Providence, or I guess H.P. Lovecraft, is that why? Or did you go to school here? Or no?
I went to school, I went to Brown, and part of the reason, I mean, when I was looking at schools, I remember the first time that I really spent, like, time in Providence when I was younger, and I was like, I love it here. Like, there's something so mystical about it.
Yeah,
and then the more you learn about it, because of the combination of people that live there and all the amazing food that's everywhere, and it's just like this spectacular changing place. And I feel like everywhere you turn, there's something really interesting and quirky, and it's so small and it's so big that way. And that's kind of where I wanted this book to feel like so intimate, but then like about these bigger themes. And I thought that really does capture Providence for me. That makes it very specific and unique that way.
Oh,
and it was,
totally does.
Yeah.
And had I done a little more sleuthing like Eggie, I would have known that you went to Brown. I'm like, she probably went to Brown. That's usually what happens.
See those? Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. But so when were you here? No. How old are you, Caroline, now?
I'm 41 years old.
Oh, you're a baby.
I was there. Yeah, I'm from 1995. Wait, I graduated high school in 94, so I started in 94, and then I took a semester off at some point, so I graduated in 98.5, like a radio station.
I probably bumped into you through the years.
Yeah. Oh, my God, I love it.
So funny. Well, I was reading one of the parts on Wickenden Street and the overpass or whatever, and I was thinking you probably wrote that before they moved the roads, or I was like...
Yes, the last time I was there, I was like, oh, shit, like this happens. You know, when you're writing like about the very real world, and I'm like, I did that in another book where I described the old Beverly Hills Hotel as all pink and green, and I went and it was beige. I'm like, damn you world. Like,
well, you know something? It's fiction, and people are funny because I remember Jennifer Weiner once telling me she wrote something about one of the stories set in Philadelphia, and someone told her it was a left, not a right, and I said, you know, at least you know people are reading closely. But
I know, I love people for that.
I know, but I was reading it, and I'm like, okay, I can picture the gap. I think I know where she means, and that's probably when they move the road. Not that anyone... I'm sure it will never come up again, but I love that.
That's what I like about readers. Yeah, it's such a specific personality that, like, then you can, because when you're reading a book and you're doing all the work in your mind, when you've actually been somewhere and seen it in real life, you're so aware of the geography and.
Oh, it's so much fun. It really is, and there are so many writers have come through this way, and so many have gone to Brown. I forget how long ago that anthology came out with all of the authors who were in it. No,
I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure.
You must not have been in it. All the authors who were upset that they weren't in it. There were some famously who were upset. It was.
Really?
It was an imprint of Simon Schuster. Yeah, I can't. I'll have to think of it. It's a big, bright yellow book.
Well, there's so many. Like, how could you know?
Yeah, there are so many, but you know how You know how writers can be, Caroline. I mean,
I guess we can be a little sensitive.
I don't want to say anything. Also, I intuit from reading the book, you must be a Springsteen fan, which who isn't?
Oh, huge. Yeah.
So I love
and yeah,
that.
One of my best friends at Brown, like, of course, I'd always known him, but she was like a religious Springsteen fan. So it's funny how that works in writing, where I'm just putting that together now of like, oh, I see the way that happened, that Harry was, you know, like loved Bruce and knew him inside and out and could speak so eloquently about his poetry and everything. And I'm like, oh, I see how the wheels are turning. Like writing about Providence brought me back to that.
Isn't that cool? I think those are the things that I love about. Like I'm not interested in asking about your writing process, or you know those. I mean, why is Springsteen in the story? You know, like to me that is what is so interesting, and how much has changed. Like have you been here recently, or was the research mostly from your days here, or how?
You know, another reason, like when I started writing this book, I had just started, and I was supposed to do a reading, and I got to Providence, and I was so excited. And on the train from New York, I started to get really, really, really sick, like high fever, the sickest I've ever been. And I wouldn't get off the train.
Oh, no.
And we're in the train station, and I'm clinging the seat, and then my mom and my friend are like with, you know, one of the men on the train, like, you have to leave. I'm like, no, I live here now. I stay here. And we got off and went to a health clinic. And I had like 104 fever. I had the flu. I was in a hotel room for 2 days, like completely delirious. And I was like, I will go back there. So I feel like I'm a very stubborn person. And I was so mad.
Persistent.
There and not getting to be there that I'm not surprised that my new book is in Providence at Providence. You know,
we could have set one of these up at a walk-in clinic for you, Caroline. Had I known the true backstory. That is
right.
Oh, I can just feel that. I was once sick on a train coming back from New York, shivering with a fever, and two kids that I was supposed to be paying attention to with me. And man. I remember thinking this train cannot pull into the station soon enough. So you remember the new station, then the old station?
Yes.
Yeah, you're from the new generation.
I don't do well with change. Yeah.
I know. I'm not a fan of change, but you did get the Dean Hotel in there, so that was really cool.
Yes. What a spot that is.
Isn't that? We love it. It's also dog friendly, so we bring Benny, Irving the corgi, with us.
That's great.
To the Dean Hotel. Yes, it's very. It's a really cool place.
It's so fun because of all the art in Providence, and I guess it's that thing of feeling like it's this extremely creative, energetic place at all times, like in every facet. I love, I mean, I remember going to even like Zuzu's Puddles and being like, oh my God, like this is how a store can be. Like this is magic. Like everything's just a little magical.
I think so too. It's a great way to describe it, and there has really been especially a literary renaissance, and the arts and all the festivals, the food trucks have exploded. It's just a really fun time to be here. And Zuzu's Petals closed on Thayer Street, though. Sorry.
I know.
Oh, you didn't know that. Yes. Lois is a good friend, though, and she does have her store in East Greenwich, which is where we are.
Oh, good.
So if you needed to be hooked up, just let us know. What an insider conversation this is becoming. Caroline Kepnes is on the phone. We're talking about her new novel, Providence. One of my very favorite lines in here, because we don't say it the same way, but it's the same idea. You say dreams are like exercise. No one wants to hear about it. We had a similar saying in our family, but the same idea, because we would wake up with these dreams and then nobody really wants to hear you talk about them. So is that something you say? Dreams are like exercise. No one wants to hear about it?
It's fascinating to me because since I was a kid, and I would see that look on my mom's face or my dad's because I talked about a dream, and I thought, what is that? Like, they're interested in everything but this. And then when someone starts to tell you their dream, and you're like, why are you telling me? And then there's that rare occasion where it's interesting, but it's one of those things you'd think that they would be so interesting, you know? Like, and yet, and also it's another thing we're trained, like, what are your hopes and dreams? And it's like, well, hope's okay, but dreams, like, they're for you. And it's another, like, mystical aspect of life that just fascinates me, the way it's 2018. We can do so much, but we don't know what those dreams are all about. Not for sure, not really.
That's so fun. I just cry. You know, that when I'm reading a book, and something just stops me, and I think, like, I got to meet somebody that gets that part of the dream. Because people just sort of, if you stopped and asked them, they might think about it and go, yeah, I'm really not that interested, but they might not think at the time, well, am I hearing this? Or, but we just like think so deeply about some of these things. And there were just so many connections in this page turning, so complex, yet, easy to understand and follow. I don't want to think anybody think it's like so, like I can read it, you can read it too. No, it's just, it's just such magically told, and characters that you really care about, really think about them. And I just thought about what's John doing, even though I'm now reading, I'm in the eggs and low part, what's going on over there. I just could not wait to find it, and it's a book that I'm so excited to share with people. And again, not to give too much away, certainly, but anything else particular in the research or in where you set storylines that worth noting or that you'd like to share?
Revisiting that Lovecraft was really exciting, because that's another. I took a class when I was in college, an American Gothic class, and I remember like walking around and like reading about him and feeling like that weird academic guilt, because when I found all of his letters, I was like, oh my God, like these are fascinating.
Yeah.
And then the stories were so confusing to me, because when you're reading and you can't even say the word out loud, and that just stayed with me my whole life. It's like, wow, like imagine like this person coming up with these unsayable words.
Wow.
And the power of that. And yeah, so and
cool.
Then the Dunwich Horror, like being one of, to me, like was always special, just because of the town, and I guess because it was one of the first ones that I read that just it stayed with me forever.
Yeah, and people come back every year. I mean, there's always the H.P. Lovecraft gathering, and I mean, this is just
yes,
I
read about that in the New Yorker, and I love when people get together and share that passion. I think that's a wonderful, magical thing too. And
it really
people
is,
all get to speak the same language.
Yes, they know, they get it, and you draw that in the event, what is it called? I don't know.
A Necronomicon, I think. With the audiobook, it was so funny of all the pronunciations. I'm like, honey, I don't know if I'm telling you the right way.
Some necro situation that has to deal with fascinating fans and thinking, when you're just all in it together and everybody sort of gets it. You start at that place where we're all in this, and then just sharing all of the most like minute detail that only somebody else that was so fascinated would understand. And it all just comes together in such a compelling, page-turning, sharing this book. When people ask me all the time, what should I read? What are you reading? What are you reading? And this one comes out today. It's Providence. It's out by Caroline Kepnes. Visit her website at Caroline Kepnes. See where else she'll be back and forth, bouncing around the coast, and on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, and tonight at Point Street Reading Series in Providence, of course. Where do you, now when you come back here, what's like a favorite place where you're like, I got to go and eat here? Of course, that's what it always comes down to.
I know, right?
Where are you eating? Where are you going to eat?
I know. My head is truly spinning. Part of me, like, of course, the book, Al Forno, like, there's nothing quite like that. That's so special. I want to go by the Dean. I want to go by the Grad Center bar. I want to go to Thayer Street and see East Side Pockets, because that's still there. Cafe Paragon, that was new when I was there. And I wish Oceans was still there.
Which one?
Oceans, the coffee shop.
Oceans.
Yeah, it was. You walked downstairs. I can't think of now. I'm going to blank on the street name, but it was right off Thayer Street, and someone will know this. Yeah, the street name, and I lived above it, and it was just one of those, really charming buildings. Like, it felt like a one step ahead of the game too.
That's so fun. Yeah, is that Angel Street, Waterman?
No, it was by Waterman. I can't think of which street. I have to look at the map, but
I can think of it, but I don't know. It was funny. I can't. I mean, it wasn't one of my haunts to like Elwoods. She wasn't in my pledge class, but Susie Gilman. I don't know if you know Kiss My Tiara and the Ice Cream Queen, Orchard Street, and Undress Me in the Temple of Heaven. So Susie graduated in 85, and when she came back to do an event here, we got the Susan J. Gilman tour of Brown University of where this was, where that was, and so through the years, right, everything has changed, and my husband's family is from here, and so he'll really do the expanded tour of everything that's changed, and the kids still get a kick out of that. But I've put in 33 years, so that's got to count for something here.
You lucky duck. Yeah.
I know. Well, I can't wait to hear about every place else you want to get to while you're here. I don't know how much time you have. There's always more in Providence. Right. And this book
the
is
new and the old.
Yes, and the way it's, oh my goodness, there's so much. It's just, the charm is all around. People love to come and visit. And if you're here or you're near here, come tonight to Point Street Reading Series. Doors at 6:30. Authors begin at 7, and it's on Richmond Street in Providence. Plenty of parking right across the street. And do not miss this book, Providence. It's out by Caroline Kepnes, and I am really excited to share it with everybody, as if you couldn't tell, Caroline.
Yeah, I feel that. Thank you so much, Robin. The smile on my face is very big right now.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to seeing it in person real soon. And thank you so much. And again, go to Reading with Robin on Facebook, and you'll find the picture of Providence, and I think with a coffee mug. I think I took that picture there with the nice coffee.
I remember that one, yep.
Yeah, thank you. And put your name down there if you'd like to win a copy, and Caroline will sign it to you, and I will send it to you. And thank you so much for your time, Caroline.
Thank you, Robin. And see everybody tonight.
Yeah, everybody tonight.
Yeah, everybody.
Point Street.
Bring eggs if you know him and he is real, please. Yeah.